We're asking if Granny was right, and the old ones really are the best when it comes to Christmas number ones. But first, the headlines this hour, in which you will be discovering why David Davis MP became an unlikely hero for one homeless person attacked outside Parliament. Now, that's Noddy Holder, but is highlighted by Paul in next week's big issue, Christmas far from the most wonderful time of the year for thousands of people forced to sleep rough over the festive period. Let's make sense of this one. Can you believe it is 50 years since he was number one? In a week when the charts are still dominated by Crimbo classics from the 70s, 80s and 90s, Don Powell from Slade will be telling us why the old ones are the best. One of the original members of Slade will be joining us as the old classics outsell new tunes on the Christmas charts. Welcome back. In the words of Noddy Holder, does your granny always tell you that the old songs are the best? Well, this week's charts, in fact, prove him right. The top 10 is currently dominated by classic Christmas songs, and tonight, at number 7, Rocking Around the Christmas Tree by Brenda Lee, which was recorded 65 years ago. Well, one person who knows more than most about Christmas classics is Don Powell, playing the drums for Slade for more than 50 years since their iconic festive number one, Merry Xmas Everybody. Don, great to have you on the show this evening. To what do we attribute this? Is it just the fact that musicians nowadays just aren't as good as you guys at putting together a Christmas hit?
I don't know, because when we recorded our Christmas, we're on the crest of a wave anyway that year, 1973, and it was Jim Lee's mother-in-law who sort of instigated the idea. She mentioned to Jim Lee that you should write a Christmas song, and that's where it came from, and Jim Lee put the idea forward. And would you believe, we were on a world tour at the time, and we were in New York in the summer of 73, and there it was 100 degrees heat wave, and there we were singing Merry Christmas. And at the time, it didn't really seem conducive, being 100 degrees heat wave and us singing about Merry Christmas.
Is there not even the tiniest part of you, Don, that's maybe a bit sick of it by now?
No, never get sick of it. It's great. I mean, it's just a great fun record, and we had a great time recording it. I mean, it's sort of thing. Like I said, it was a bit strange because it was the heat wave in New York, and at first we weren't sure about releasing it. And it was our record producer at the time, Chas Chandler, said, "I don't care what you lot say, this is coming out."
OK, so to put you on the spot then, Don, obviously Merry Xmas Everybody is the greatest Christmas record ever made. What else do you like at this time of year? You can't use carols, you can't use hymns. I'm looking for pop songs that you think hit the mark in terms of Christmas music.
Well, personally, I really like Roy Wood's version. I wish it could be Christmas every day. That's a great song. But I remember that particular year, 1973, there was a glut of Christmas records. There was Greg Lake, Elton John. There's quite a few records out that year, but we picked them all at the post. But we were having a great year that year anyway. But there's so many great Christmas records out. You know, it's fantastic, really. I think it just lifts everybody's dismal beings, if you like, when people sort of feel a bit depressed, and you can play these Christmas records and they really do lift you up.
I just want to play perhaps my number two, Don. My number two is By the Darkness, another kind of group of rockers just like yourselves. I just want to play it, and I want to get your view on it. I've encountered this one at some point over the years, Don. But again, it's, big guitars, lots of singing, everyone having a great time and a bit of fun as well.
Exactly. That's what it's all about, isn't it, really? I mean, this time of year, it's just, we're not out to preach a message, we're just out to sort of lift everybody's spirits up.
Don, just stay where you are. I just want to bring in the panel, of course, is that music nowadays is just a bit more ephemeral, that it's a bit it isn't quite as solid, it isn't quite as tuneful, it doesn't persist as long in terms of an earworm as songs like your own?
Well, I think really we were never out to preach a message there. We were just out to have a good time, and I think, and that was the same with a lot of the songs around that time in the 70s, early to mid 70s. That we weren't out to preach a message. We were just out to have a good time.
Well, Don, do you know what? Are you ready for Christmas yourself? I mean, surely, there has to be a point in the day where the tune comes out.
Well, yeah, it's yes, I get sort of stuck with it. Especially, I was in an elevator the one time and just playing in the elevator, and the elevator was quite packed, and I was at the front by the door. And this guy behind me, he didn't see me there. He just shouted, "I'm so fed up of this record," and I turned around and faced him. You should have seen his face. He didn't know where to look. You know? But it's fantastic. I mean, no matter where you go, it's there in the supermarket, like I said, in the elevator. It's great. It's great fun.
Well, Don, look, wishing you and yours a very, very Merry Christmas when it comes. Thanks so much for your time.
Thanks a lot, mate.